Is it possible that Trump had expected Reza Pahlavi to already have issued a call for protest, and because he hasn't done it yet, Trump's now wanting to do a deal and end the war?
I mean, President Trump continues to say, I completely understand why they haven't come out yet, because he says, like, every time they ask him that, he says that. But the messaging from President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and Princess Pahlavi has been consistent from the Americans as a whole. From Admiral Cooper, for example, is that they're telling the Iranians not to come out. So it doesn't, like, I don't understand this. You're right. Like, like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, the expectations with the Iranian people to come out. If that's the expectations, then why are they telling them not to come out? Like, like, that doesn't make any sense. The Americans are telling the Iranians not to come out. And like, well, we expected them to come out. Well, then why are you telling them the opposite? Like, is this like one of those? It sounds like one of my ex girlfriends. I like, I'm like, oh no, don't buy me that for Valentine's Day. I'm like, okay, I won't. I'm like, well, why didn't you buy that? I was expecting you to buy that. I'm like, well, you told me not to. What is that? Like, you can't you can't keep communicating to the Iranian people to stay home and also say the expectations was them for them to come out. At least if they had said nothing to them, you could be like, oh, they didn't say anything, but they were hoping that they would do this. But when you also officially are telling them to stay home, which is in line with what Princess of Pahlavi, there, I don't see like a disagreement between like Americans and Princess of Pahlavi here, especially because now we have on record Admiral Cooper telling the Iranian people that the signal is not out yet and you need to stay home.
I mean, I'd forgotten about the Admiral Cooper thing, but I know Trump is saying not to come out earlier on. But and the other question was, if the US says the war is over, would Israel still be allowed to provide drone presence to help the protesters?
Say that again. Sorry.
So if the US made a deal and said the war was over, and then the Iranians protested, would Israel still be allowed to provide drone presence to help the protesters, or would the US stop them doing that?
Yeah, I don't think the US will stop them from doing that. I think the understanding based on what I'm seeing is that the Americans understand that Israel needs to do what it needs to do for its own survival. When you see President Trump sometimes stopping the Israelis from doing something, it's mostly really high value targets. For example, during the 12-day war, they apparently stopped them from killing Khamenei. Right now, for example, they might ask them not to kill Ghalibaf or Arakshi. I don't think the requests goes as far as like, oh, like, don't do, like, the list of requests by Americans is usually not that, you know even if it when it comes to stop military operations, it might be like stopping of bombardments, but they don't usually ask them to just stop even any form of smaller intelligence gathering, sabotage, or assassinations or drone activity. Like, that level of involvement in America in Israel's decisions is like, that is way too much for Israel to tolerate. Like, what the hell? Like, you want to come and run my parliament as well? Like, how about what about my water system in Israel? Do you have any opinions on that? Should do you want to do you want to also green light that as well? Like, that is like, I don't think that's a level of involvement that Israel would be able to tolerate. It's usually more like really high impact events, big events that sometimes Americans ask Israelis not to do.
Okay, let's move on. I have BT next.
You spoke about Kharg Island yesterday. If you covered what I'm about to ask about, refer me to yesterday's video, especially since we're in a time crunch. I saw a video today. I can't give you any other info than that. I don't have a clue. And the gentleman was talking about how capturing that island won't actually change anything for the Strait of Hormuz, and something about it strategically not even making sense, anyways. And then someone mentioned that it could just be, hey, look over here. And then we're doing something over here. What impression when I heard that, I was like, okay, Trump, like, it really fit the bill. what impression do you, briefly, if you can, do you have on that?
Okay, that's a very good question. I did also hear that some of the islands that they might actually go and take over might be not Kharg Island. It might be some other islands, and maybe Kharg Island was a distraction. I don't know, but that's a very good question. It might be multiple islands. Kharg Island is like way up north. It's like very far away from the Strait of Hormuz, and there are some other islands closer to the Strait of Hormuz which are used as a way by the Islamic Republic to, as a base for controlling, the activities around the Strait of Hormuz. And maybe the Americans would want to go for that, or to basically remove the regime's ability to, control the Strait of Hormuz. I've also heard that, but it might be both. Like, we don't know. It might be both. I'm going to say something. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And this worries me. And I don't know how much I should be worried. I'm worried for the American soldiers. I'm really worried for the American soldiers. I really don't know how much the Islamic Republic is able to, like, I hope the American soldiers are not walking into, like, what we had in Iraq when it comes to the IEDs. Like, this is IED. We have IEDs now, but they're flying in the air, right? Like, this is like kind of a horrible situation. I don't know. Once the American soldiers are in those islands or in southern Iran, w- would now the Islamic Republic have the upper hand to be able to now cause a lot of damage to the American soldiers there, right? Are we putting so many American soldiers now in harm's way? And that really does concern me. And I don't know if I just don't want to. I just want to make sure they're not walking into a trap. I know how little it takes to cause a lot of damage. You know, I mean, we're talking about like how many American soldiers versus, we're talking about, like, I don't know, 10,000 American soldiers versus hundreds of thousands of them hiding in every hole, having drones in the middle of the trees, and like having missiles coming out of like different holes that all of a sudden, yeah. And it's going to be very hard to protect American soldiers against like these cheap drones that could come out of everywhere and anywhere. And it's one thing for you to be able to defend, I don't know, your bases, American bases, and the UAE, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia and Israel having those defense, having the Patriot, THAAD, and Patriot, and all of these interceptors are right at their base, just watching anything that is coming at you to intercept them. But now, when you're sending the American soldiers in, no, that defense system is not coming there with you. Even if you clear that area with aerial bombardment and like with drones and stuff, you're just only clearing the area. Once the soldiers are in, the Islamic Republic could start attacking them from farther north. And that would be so hard to defend against. So that's my, and again, what, yeah, so that is my main concern. And I don't know how much of a concern this is, but because I don't know, I'm worried. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't pretend to have a clue, but when I heard about them coming in, one thing that I'm generally getting more comfortable with, which I don't know if this is trust growing or not, certainly maybe in the start, is that when we hear something from Trump, for myself, only much later, sometimes when it's totally over, am I able to pinpoint, okay, this was the part in that was true. Not so much that he's telling lies, but it's never what it seems on the surface. People can call that whatever level of chess they want to. I just have a feeling that at no point is he telling us exactly what's happening. So whether that means they're not actually going to that island, whether it's for a different reason that's being told, we never take it for face. And I'm getting more comfortable with being uncomfortable and not knowing, because so far it's seeming to work out, and the things that I've been nervous about haven't even been what's happened once it has happened. So I'm getting more comfortable in that feeling. I guess that is trust. I don't disagree, especially as a military spouse, that, you know, sending people over it's a different ball game, especially given our history with the Middle East and how very different the warfare is. So, you know, we all wait and see, and that certainly should be something that as a military family I'm used to. It's not. But yeah, it never once has been exactly what it looked like from the surface. And so I'm thankful for that right now. But I appreciate you caring about our guys and our ladies and worrying about them. So thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, of course. I actually feel, I really feel bad that I sometimes feel that it's part of the motivation has been to help Iranians, and I really feel guilty the more the the more the price to the cost to Americans are to win this battle, the more I feel like, oh my god, we owe the Americans so much after all of this. Need to oh, BT, by the way, your mic is open. And we need to somehow eventually make it up to them by being the strongest ally that they could have ever. We need to compete with the Israelis, regardless of who is the better American ally. No, but also I just wanted to add something really quickly. Is that sorry? I'll finish this quickly. A lot of analysts around the world are saying like, "Oh, the Americans miscalculated this or miscalculated that. Israelis miscalculated this or miscalculated that." There hasn't been a single war or military operation in history that did not have miscalculations. Like that, miscalculations are part of war all the time. It's normal.
Sherry, you have 30 seconds.
Armin, I just want to say thank you very much for your concern for our soldiers. I have a brother who is a general in the United States Air Force, and I've had the opportunity to visit at Walter Reed, and our soldiers are 100% behind this cause. That's all.
Oh, thank you, Sherry, and both you and BT. I just want to say thank you, brother, for his service, and BT also, your husband. Thank you for your service. The whole world owes you guys. It's not a lot of people. It's not just Americans. The whole world owes you guys. But yeah.
Reminder too, Armin, it's not as if we're doing you guys some favor. We contributed to the IRGC as well. Not only that, but this is the whole world's problem. So, although one of the wonderful side effects of saving the entire planet is going to be that everybody inside of Iran is much safer, but don't, when you weigh that and think about owing somebody something, not a chance. It's a nice sentiment, but we also owe you guys to help you out. And Israel is like, oh, finally, everybody else realizes that these guys are up to no good and they're just like first in line. But I will say, when this is done, or just starting now, if Israel and Iranians want to fight over who will be our bestie, we're here for that.
Sounds good.
All right.